1, 2, 3. Ow! My thumb.
Sorry.
It's okay. Hello, governor.
I didn't mean to do that. Hello.
I'm Tom.
I'm Galen.
And we are...
Stuck in the apartment?
Yeah.
Indefinitely?
Welcome to your 15 minutes of Fume Tournament of Underdogs. Yes, there's their dance.
Air guitar. Don't even know how to play an air guitar.
Wow, we're a little bit punchy today, but hopefully you can hear us better because we improved our sound. Lots of crazy shit's happening in the world. We're trying to stay positive. My sister got a dog, and this is the 3rd anniversary of Galen getting to stand on the staircase that they used for filming Black Swan.
Can you believe that? I know, I can't either.
Anyway, we are very close to the end of round 1 in this incredible competition that features Black Phoenix Alchemy Labs' general catalog perfumes, the underperformers, and now we're pitting them against each other to see what's the issue. Who are the standouts? Who are the also-rans? Who do we love? Who do we, wish very well in the times ahead? And we're really hoping to pull our running time back down into a manageable place. So let's just leap on in with our first round of competitors, shall we? Queen Alice versus Seraphim. So Queen Alice is fortunately a scent that requires very little explanation because we have an entire collection of Mad Tea Party perfume blends inspired by Alice in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass, all of that nonsense. You've spent your entire life hearing or making references to it. Queen Alice...
Don't you want to smell like it too?
...is when Alice becomes a queen. Do you remember that?
That's in Through the Looking Glass, right?
Yeah, she becomes a queen. It's like a chess game.
Yeah.
She's Queen Alice. Now we have an Alice perfume blend that is different than this. And we have Alice's Evidence. And we have a few different Alice variations. The Queen Alice one is Carnation, Posies, and White Amber with a hint of Inky Treacle, Sandy Cider, and Woolly Wine.
Sandy Cider would be a good drag name.
It requires a lot of explanation in a way that might be like...
that's true.
Sandy Cider,
just
like,
scratch that.
What's that?
So
There's
what,
sand in your
maybe
cider?
We should just smell it.
Big fucking deal.
What, were you at the beach? Like, good for you. I haven't been to the beach in months.
So, it's occurring to me that I haven't actually smelled this one. Maybe ever. Right in the bottle.
Smelling the Sandy Cider.
To me, it smells like bubblegum in a really intense way.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
I don't know why.
This is like what happened with me the other day with the Carnation, so I think it might be the Carnation.
I think it might be a bit the Carnation sweetened up with the cider. So, like, I got a kind of a weird bubblegum note right off the bat. But yes, Carnation blooming. And then there's these kind of, like, silly combinations in here. Woolly Wine, Sandy Cider, Inky Treacle. Inky Treacle is a much more... intriguing drag name in my opinion because no one is going to ask you what that means. They don't want to know.
It does have, yeah, once you said bubblegum, I'm like, oh, now I can't unsmell that.
It's just kind of sweet and spicy and silly,
mm-hmm.
you know? The Carnation does give it a little bit of like credibility as a perfume. It's got like a plausible deniability that this is like a real product made with actual ingredients. That being said, it devolves from there into pure silliness, and I do get a bit of that wine note, although I don't think I would have recognized it without it being mentioned, because what an oddball this is.
It's so woolly.
It's I don't know how a perfume can be woolly. We've done this a few times,
but... How a wine
but
can be woolly.
How can a wine
some wool in your
be
bottle.
woolly? Usually if the wine meets the wool, then you're in big trouble, and you have to go to the dry cleaner. It's just kind of got some like weird splashes and hiccups of strange, sweet, pleasant things. And I don't have like a real clear association to draw with any of it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my brain went to bubblegum and that's what we're getting. And then Seraphim, obviously inspired by the angelic entity. I actually got to wear this a bit a couple of years ago because we sent some of this to the National Theatre of Albania, where they were doing an Albanian production of Angels in America. And I sent them this and Nephilim, and was like, good luck. And they really seemed to think it was fun. The scent notes are calla lily, wisteria, white sandalwood, Damascus rose, and frankincense. So this is like more of a relatively staid perfume with trackable ingredients that make sense together in context, because there's definitely something churchy.
This is nice
about it. It is really nice. It's an elegant, non-controversial rose perfume with
definitely smelling the rose and the frankincense.
Yes.
The most. I
and
think.
The lily kind of rounds it out into a bouquet. Like, it really does smell like a wedding or a funeral or a christening or something where you're in a church and there's flowers. The doors are open. It's just beautiful and fresh, but like solemn. And the wisteria, I think, kind of takes it into an interesting kind of like, that's where it's kind of like fresh.
A lighter note, yeah.
And like, yeah, exactly. But that frankincense, my goodness. So it's funny because we got one very silly perfume and then one very serious perfume.
Who will win?
Who will win?
The great battle.
The great battle. Well, let's just try them on and find the hell out. Okay, are you ready? I'm in it. It's more sophisticated on the skin than it is in the bottle. It's not as sweet right off the bat. The sweet has dried off instantly. And
it's a little spicier, for sure.
Yeah, like it's a much more of an intriguing carnation. I don't feel like quite so much like it's laughing in my face. I'm not getting as much of the wine, for example, or the cider, so it's not as boozy as I thought it would be, which I guess is great because she's just a child.
You may be queen.
You may be queen, but
don't be drinking those woolly wines and sandy ciders.
I'm kind of only getting a spicy carnation on the skin.
I don't know what treacle smells like.
Do you know what treacle is?
I know it's inky.
I know that it's inky. Well, the thing is that it's not. Well, I mean, it's like a.
Oh.
It's like a molasses syrup.
Oh, you learn something new every day, I guess. I did not know what that was.
Yeah.
I knew it was like an ingredient in
like
food, but I didn't know exactly
sweetener, a syrup. But I'm not getting any particular kind of gourmand or booze note. I mean, like, the carnation is kind of like
It's truly somewhere in the middle, I think. Like, it's not really either or.
Definitely smelling the flowers in the vase on the table more than I'm smelling anything that's actually served on it, like inky, woolly, or otherwise. And then how are you feeling about the Seraphim?
Well, let's see.
Woo! Talk about like a hairpin turn in the brain.
Different. Yeah. Oh my.
It's only gotten darker on the skin for me. Like, that wisteria that was kind of like breathy, doors open feeling is gone. The doors are slammed shut. The ceremony is happening.
Yeah, the rose is really incredible.
Full-bodied, bosomy rose. But I mean, it does have a more of a really kind of timeless quality to it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real mood changer right then. I just felt everything around me just kind of smooth out.
Yeah, it's a real...
Like, am I getting married?
It's a real change from Queen Alice.
Here's the thing and why I didn't end up wearing it a lot. It is very serious. This is like a straight-laced perfume. It's kind of weirdly conservative to me, Like, the pearls bolted around the neck, the hemline at a certain place, hat at a certain angle. So we're taking a moment to look at the reviews on the BPAL.org forum, which seems to be where people are posting their updated impressions of these scents, which is great because those turn up in Google searches when people are looking for a particular scent name, like scent name at BPAL. It usually is right there. Bam. We are hoping for more outward-facing stuff on social media to kind of help promote these scents to people who would not ordinarily even think to go looking for them. So please keep that in mind in upcoming tournament-style postings. I would really love to see some of that. However, it is very useful because I'm reading the review here by Lady Phlogiston about Queen Alice, who writes that on this person it was all cider. And I go back and I smell... Obviously, we just put this on like 5 or 10 minutes ago, and it's still kind of like rolling out. Weirdly, I do smell the cider kind of creeping forward.
The cider has come out a lot more in the time since we've applied.
It's very strange. It's one of the hard things about judging this, because there are times where we're finished with the video and like uploading it to the internet, and I'm smelling different things, and I haven't had any of that happen in a way that has made me want to change my vote exactly, but there are components where I'm like, oh, it would be nice if someone knew about this. And also, for perfume lovers, I know that we like love to test things, but this is like a world of snap judgments, you know? Like, if you order something in the mail and you smell it in the bottle and it hits you a certain kind of way, you might not even put it on your skin at all. So
Right.
I feel comfortable with the impressions we're gathering. However, yes, I am getting more of the cider.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly now, they're coming for us.
What's going on?
How do you judge this?
Like, who am I picking?
Well, yeah. I mean, do you have a? Can you do that?
Can I do that? Yes. I choose Seraphim.
I feel like we should have these written on cards so that so it doesn't look like we're affecting each other's opinion necessarily. Because I too choose Seraphim, and I don't want you to think that I'm copying you. The rose is warming up on my skin. It's kind of getting more inviting as I wear it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with Queen Alice, and I love Carnation.
Right.
I'm just not really sure why I would reach for this.
It would not be my choice, like, on a personal level, but like the rose is really luscious and Seraphim in a way that I'm like, I would throw that on.
It's a beautiful rose perfume,
Yeah.
and I collect beautiful rose perfumes, and I definitely work for the right place if that's what I do. And I do like that the Queen Alice is playful, and the Mad Tea Party is its own whole world of scents that in many ways like make no sense whatsoever. That's a beautiful way of paying tribute to the story and exploring it in scent, like the scratch and sniff sniff along version of this with BPAL products is really fun because there's lots of weird combos in these perfumes that you just can't find probably anywhere else on earth. However, as a rose fan and as someone who loves terrifying interactions with angelic figures, I have to say that Seraphim has my vote.
I choose Seraphim.
And I do too. The next little matchup in our tournament of underdogs is Mata Hari versus TUSHNAMATAY. What's a TUSHNAMATAY? I had a hard time even on Google finding any references that were not pointing back to our fragrance. Apparently it is a Persian goddess of meditation.
Oh, cool.
Makes a lot of sense when we get to the description. But first, Mata Hari, of course, created as a tribute to the renowned, notorious, legendary
Mata Hari.
Spy, femme fatale, courtesan, exotic dancer, possessed of aristocratic elegance, it says about her. I hope one day people will be writing the same thing about me. Anyway, we will spare you the biography, but the scent is striking and bold with a delicate yet dark undertone. 5 roses.
Damn.
With soft jasmine, warmed by vanilla, fig, tonka bean, and mahogany, and spiced with a drop of coffee bean.
Oh my.
Again, I don't remember ever smelling this. Give it a little shake. That coffee bean rattling around in there. I'm just kidding. It doesn't come with a coffee bean in it. You ready to smell it?
I am.
Oh, wow. I'm glad I shook it up. Okay, so the coffee is really strong in the bottle.
God.
I didn't know. I had no idea. She has been up all night. She is typing out her papers. It's funny because I've never smelled a coffee bean jasmine scent before.
I haven't either, and that's mostly what I'm getting in the bottle.
Yeah, the tonka I'm getting with the coffee.
I didn't realize that jasmine would pair so well with coffee.
It's strange. I have never smelled anything quite like this before. My stomach is doing a funny thing.
I'm startled and charmed.
The roses and jasmine is reminding me of something which I think is our out-of-stock, discontinued Sacred Horror of Babylon. Except for the coffee is such an ambush here that it doesn't really remind me of that scent at all. So it's like, with the vanilla and fig and coffee together, it gives it a kind of like more of a latte kind of situation. Like it's like a sweetened up coffee. But then, so it's like weirdly sweet and warm, but then there's like the bitterness of the coffee, and then like the kind of darkness of the mahogany. And then those florals, like I really am trying to figure out where I am, like what's around me. Who can I trust? Okay, well that was wild.
Wow.
Didn't see her coming. I guess that's the point.
That's...
And then for TUSHNAMATAY, the challenge for this one for us as judges is that no scent notes are listed in the description. Some of the BPALs don't have that. It just says pure internal harmony and spiritual bliss. What's that like? The perfected meditation blend.
Okay.
You ready? So we're just gonna go in blind.
Shake it up.
You're gonna tell me what's in it.
Okay.
Shake it up, sniff it out. That's like our new slogan for the show. Are you
floral?
Picking out any notes?
No.
Can I trade you in with the bottle? I want full blast. I just want to stick my whole head in the bottle. Okay, so I think I'm getting sage.
I can't tell. It smells sweet.
It's kind of a
Not
soft
like
scent.
Sweet.
Sometimes like you take the lid off the bottle and you're like your hair is like blown back, and this is like I'm actually having to crawl in there to figure it out.
There's definitely a floral, though I do not know what flower or flowers.
I want to say there's like a wood that could be like sandalwood or cedar. There's something kind of like woody / earthy in there underneath a soft floral with maybe like a couple of herbs, like clean herbs. Maybe we look at the forum reviews, they'll have cracked the code. I don't know. Wow, going head to head with Matahari, who's like all, outspoken, va 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 voom. It's going to be a really weird combo. So let's hit it. We're going to visit Madame Matahari. Apparently she was executed. Now I find out.
Legend.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay, so on the skin, it is the same so far as it is in the bottle. Very stable from what I smelled before. And it is all bombast. This is like a house party. I don't mean that in a disparaging way. Like, it's overwhelming, but all of the scents kind of are very enveloping and like comforting in their own way. I've just never smelled these together before.
It's stunning.
Like, literally.
I am really picking out like all of the notes, and they're playing in harmony.
The rose is like, even though it has
others,
5 roses, they're still kind of like understated in the overall scheme of things so far.
Mm-hmm.
The jasmine is much more like swinging her shoulder pads in there, and the coffee is like right front and center. Like, it seems anchored around the coffee, which is not what I expected.
The vanilla and tonka make it kind of smooth, so probably like a bit of a bridge between the coffee and the florals.
Yep.
And there's fig in here too, right?
Somewhere there's a fig. Should have shaken it up a little more.
I'm not smelling it particularly, but I believe that it's in there.
We have a couple of reviews here in the forum for Matahari, new reviews. The most recent review on the forum is by Lil Baphomet, however you prefer.
However you pronounce your
Famet, who has written a lovely romantic letter to Matahari. Says, I highly recommend for any lovers of voluptuous florals, smoky undertones, and lustrous jammy fruit. And that's interesting because the way this is written points out that the fig is kind of there in like jam form. Remember, you can do that. You can have your fig in a jam. And then goes on to say that over time, the femme fatale melts away to reveal the heartfelt lover, honey sweet and amorous, and then finally she leaves us with the rich bitter mingling of the coffee bean with last gasps of fruit. The sanguine kiss blown at her own fate to fade beautifully and drift away. You should probably have my job. The rose dial is like actively being turned like while I'm wearing it. The way that the florals are in this remind me of the caterpillar from Mad Tea Party, which are kind of like dark blooming florals that just sort of envelop you.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fascinating.
It's truly a very heady experience.
It is. It is kind of overwhelming, but like this is what you want. I mean, there's like a real romance to it in a way that I wasn't surprising, and like in a way I said I wasn't surprising. A real romance to it in a way that I wasn't expecting. The coffee is retreating a bit.
Yeah.
It's mellowing and blending. This is okay. So this is why I love. This is part of why I got hooked on BPAL though. Is like you read something, you smell something, you try it on. Different things happen. It's like a whole form of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
This is why there are so many people out there with Rubbermaids full of this shit. You know, because you actually can have a whole experience and it gives you something to follow and imagine.
It's a whole, it's a whole mood.
And then you can repeat that experience whenever you like, if the Rubbermaid isn't pushed, too far under the bed. Okay, so now I guess we will wander down and see what TUSHNAMATAY is doing.
Oh, if we must.
If my nose sensors aren't just like blown out by the opera that I just went to. Oh, no, it's here. Fascinating. It's got a little bite to it that I think is an oud. I'm guessing there's oud in here.
Oh, that makes sense. There is an oud. Maybe an amber? I don't know.
It's an incense with a soft floral and then like a lovely, well-placed, sharp note to for everything to kind of like twine around. I'm looking at some of the reviews. Someone speculated that the floral is maybe a lotus, which would make sense, or a gardenia.
Mm-hmm.
People are tracking sandalwood. Luchessa says it's funny that they say it's almost bubblegum on them, which is funny because it's like
I'm kind of smelling that too, though.
Second bubblegum today.
I know. And yet they're not battling each other.
This really does remind me of visits that I've made to various temples and so forth.
Something resiny.
There's like a really grounding, seductive quality to it that I just don't really understand. And I do see this as kind of a utility blend. Like this would be great for setting like a calming, background for meditation or ceremonial work. It's giving me like a hippie-ish connotation for sure, though.
Mm-hmm.
There's some like real Earth Mother spiritual workshop action happening here.
I wish I knew what was in it, because it's like I'm recognizing the notes, but I'm blindness.
I'm like wandering back up the arm now to smell Matahari again. She's just over here still doing her thing. It's like a fire that's like still going even though I'm like moving into the next room. Now the coffee is really just an undertone and these florals are just, booming.
I think I'm getting frankincense in TUSHNAMATAY.
I'm nose blind now and I can't tell in the slightest.
I think there's frankincense. That's
so,
my theory.
From the forum reviews, people kind of came out for both of them in a nice way. So there's not like a lot of like heavy swing one way or another there. What are your impressions? Like what's the one that you're definitely going to reach for again?
I think I would reach for both of them again, but I'm gonna go with Matahari.
Really?
Yeah. What an experience. A true surprise.
TUSHNAMATAY is lovely, but I have to say if I was going to push one forward in the competition to see it battle against something else, Matahari is definitely the one that I would choose, because it's like, oh yeah, you think you're tough? Go up against her.
I swear one day we'll disagree about something.
It's a strange enough BPAL. It's like really distinctive, and it just reminds me of the kind of thing you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. So
yeah.
It's also one of those things where I think delicacy of palate issues notwithstanding, it's definitely the one that I think kind of best represents what we're doing here. Because what is that? It's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like we have agreed that Matahari is the one. Walking away here with the belt.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that leaves us only with one more episode to film for round one. Because next episode we're going to be filming Night Gaunt versus Queen of Hearts. There's a crossover. And Prague versus Sybaris. So join us again when we do that. And then we'll move on to round two, which is seeded with all sorts of new competitors that haven't emerged yet versus ones that we already have. And then our subjectivity will truly be pushed to the limit.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess we'll see you there. Thank you for tuning in as usual. And we will leave you to your weenie stalking, as we will also be doing.